every once in a while, you might just want to be a bit like a pirate. And if that's the case, then Dread Curse might be the game for ye. Interesting one of thievery and stealing amongst you and your fellow shipmates aboard a cursed ship, trying to get as much as you can and not end up being everyone else's little whipping bitch. 3 to 8 players, plays 30 to 45 minutes, though if you're playing with 8 players, it's going to be more like an hour, perhaps a little more. But it's still a lot of fun, not very serious, but it's a kick in the old Lon Johns.
Dread Curse is a game by Stuart Sisk and distributed through Smirk Dagger Games. Inside the box, in addition to any colorful paraphernalia that you might have in there to help your game be more entertaining, you're going to find the rule book, which hopefully you won't need too much if you're watching this, but you will need to reference that guy, so yes, as always, hold on to it. You're going to find a bag filled with a lot of cardboard coins. You're going to be passing this bag around, though, a lot throughout the course of the game, but for right now, just keep it off to the side. You have a deck of treasure cards, a whole bunch of these. Then there are 8 character cards. These are the roles that you'll be switching in and out as the game goes on. So for the start of the game, just go ahead and put them kind of in the middle of your playing area where everybody will be able to get to them. There's also a card for Jack the Monkey, a character that you'll be interacting with through the course of the game. Also keep this one kind of close to the middle of the playing area so everybody can get to it. And the last thing are some little reference cards. These tell you the different phases of the game and what order they come in. There's also a breakdown of the distribution of what's actually inside the bag and inside the character card deck. So you can keep this one face up where everybody can kind of see it, pass these off to the players who are always asking questions. You know who they are. The general premise of this is everyone plays a different pirate on board the same ship. You're trying to get as much loot as you possibly can through the course of the game and hopefully get out before anybody sticks you with something bad. To complete the setup of the game, everyone's going to start the game with one of the coins out of the bag. So you're going to have to pull a few of these things out because there are a whole bunch of positive value coins ranging from 1 to 5, and there are a couple of not so good things. There are 2 black spots in the bag. If you've got one of these at the end of the game, you automatically lose no matter what you have. So through the course of the game, if you end up with one of these, you're going to try as hard as you can to get rid of it. There's also a lead slug, which looks a lot like a 5 valued coin, but it's not. It's made of lead, and this one's actually worth -5 points. So you don't really want to get stuck with this one either, but it's not the end of the world if you do. You need 1 coin for each player in the game. One of them is going to be the black spot. Then you're going to grab other coins at random, but you're not going to get the other black spot or the lead slug in with those. So usually what I do is I simply count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then wrap back around and do 1 and 2, depending on how many players I have in the game. So if there's 5 players, I'm going to take the black spot plus the 1, 2, 3, and 4. As many as you need, you're going to put those face down, mix them up, and each player is going to draw one at the start of the game. You're going to take it, everybody's going to turn that one face up. Whoever had the black spot is going to start the game as the captain and take the captain's character card. The captain will then take all the remaining character cards, shuffle them up, and deal them out randomly to the other players. That's what everyone's going to be at the start of the game. Any character cards that you're not using, just keep them face up in the middle of the board. You'll be using them again at the start of the second round. The rest of the coins go back in the bag, and then each player gets 3 of the treasure cards from the treasure deck. Unless you're playing with 7 or 8 players, in that case you're only going to get 2 of the treasure cards. At this point, everybody goes ahead and turns their coin face down, and you'll want to keep it like that as the game progresses because people are going to be stealing from each other. But at this point, you're ready to start the actual turn. Now, the treasure cards that you start with are all interesting little cheats that help you break the game. They all have a title and a red texted area with an hourglass on it, which tells you when that card is able to be played. Just make sure you're keeping track of what turn you're in as you're going, and that should be pretty easy to keep track of. They have a little text which tells you what the card actually does. Some of these can be absolutely crazy. Just be prepared for the unexpected and try to agree on things as you play through the game. Be reasonable. They also have a dollar amount in the bottom right corner. If you don't play these and you keep them until the end of the game, they'll actually be worth that much money to you. That monetary value is pretty tricky though, because the cards that tend to be worth a lot of gold are also the ones that are really powerful, and you tend to want to play them. So it's a trade-off. As a quick overview, every person is going to take turns drawing coins from the bag and then stealing from the other players. After that, you get a chance to pay Jack Pierre, the monkey, in order to get yourself an additional treasure card. After that, everyone decides if they want to keep going through the game, staying on board the ship and trying to get more coins, more gold and loot, or if they want to try to jump off the ship, take what they have and remove themselves from the game, saying basically, all right, I'm good with what I have, I think I'm going to win, and jump overboard. They might not be successful, but if they are, they're out for the rest of the game. They can't win anything else, but they can't have anything else taken from them, and they can't be affected by anyone else's cards. And the last phase is where each person gets to bid on what role they want to have for the next turn. After that's over, you restart again with the captain starting their draw phase. So let's go over this in a little more detail with our draw phase. Each player card has a black text at the top which tells you what you get to draw from the bag in your draw phase. For instance, the captain gets to draw 2, 3, or 4 coins. This means you get the choice of how many you want from the bag. The early part of the game, maybe you want to draw a whole lot out of there. But when the game gets down to where there's only a few of the coins left in here, if you know that there's 1 or possibly 2 of the black spots in here, you might not be wanting to draw very many coins. The captain always starts in each phase, and once they've taken whatever it is they decide to draw out of the bag, they pass it to the next numerical person. It doesn't just play clockwise, it goes to whoever the next person is by rank. So after the captain is done, you'll pass the bag to the first mate, who actually happens to be on my right. But I would pass that to the first mate. The first mate's draw gets to take 1 less than the captain. They'll draw, they'll pass it over to the third person, who would be the pilot, but the pilot hasn't been chosen, so it would pass to the 4th player, the bosun, over here. Play continues this way until everyone has a chance to draw from the bag. Then you head into the stealing phase, so you can put the bag off to the side. Now the players get to grab coins from the other players in the game. Standard is that each person gets to steal 1 coin from either the person on their immediate right or their immediate left, or they get to steal from the captain, regardless of where the captain is position-wise. Now, a lot of characters have a specific cheat that will trigger during the steal phase. The cheat is defined as the red text on your card. That's a way that your character breaks the rule. Not all of them coincide with the stealing phase. And there are cards and certain abilities that can stop people from having their cheat, and there are some that can stop people from having their steal. Just realize that those two things are different. So if someone plays a card that stops your cheat, it only stops your red text. Like for the captain, it says that you actually steal 2 coins, which can be from both from the left or from the right, or 1 from each. If someone plays a card that stops that cheat, it only takes away the red text. You still get to steal 1 coin from either the person on your right or your left, but you would not get to use your cheat. If someone played a card that canceled your steal, you wouldn't get to steal anything on this round. I'll go over what each of the rolls are at the end of the video, so don't worry too much about that right now. But once each person has had their chance to do their steal, then you move into the third phase, which is the Jack, Pierre, the monkey phase. Each person gets an option of paying Jack 1 coin worth at least 2 or more in value. If you do, he will give you 1 treasure card in return. Jack Pierre is a bit of a dick, and he will not give you any change if you overpay him. So if you give him a 4 or a 5, he's still only going to give you 1 card and probably the middle finger at the same time. He also only has 1 free hand, which means you can't give him 2 coins valued at 1, which I don't even have, but you can only give him 1 coin. It must be valued 2 or higher. He gives you no change. He's dick. So once everybody's gotten the opportunity to spank the monkey, everyone moves into the next phase, which is cut and run. This is where you can decide to get off the ship if you really want to. If you like the number of coins that you have, you can try to escape. You might not be able to. There are a lot of cards in here that will alter that and some that will do bad things to you when you try. It's worth mentioning that you cannot cut and run if you have a black spot, because you would instantly lose. You can do it with the lead slug, you just get -5 points, but if you have the black spot, you don't even have the option. But in the cut and run phase, everyone is going to take 1 coin and put it in their hand. Either face down if you want to stay on the ship, or if you want to attempt to leave, you will turn that coin face up. Everyone will put it out there, they will all reveal at the same time. If a person's chosen to cut and run, then other people have the ability to play cards that would take effect at that time. If they still do manage to actually get off the ship, they'll keep their coins face down. They're out for the rest of the game, but hopefully they've got enough that they can win in the end. Everyone who chose to stay on board the ship moves into the next phase, which is all hands on deck.
Now hear this. Now hear this. This is the captain speaking. That is all.
In the cut and run phase, everyone has to bid on what roll they want for the next round. You do this by pushing forward 1 or 2 coins in front of you to bid on hopefully being able to pick what you want. When everyone has got their bid ready, you will turn over all of the coins at the same time. Whoever has the highest numbered coins is actually going to be the captain for the next round. In the event of a tie, those players push forward 1 additional coin, and then that determines who the actual captain is. So in this case, this person winning the captaincy, that's what you decide first. That person becomes captain. Everyone else puts their rolls toward the center. Then you start going through the rest of the order, starting with the next highest person. In that case, this person has the next highest total. They get their choice of what role they want to be. This comes in very, very handy as the game goes on. So in this case, perhaps this person chose to be the pilot, then it would go to the next highest, they choose to be the cook, and then the last chooses perhaps to be the first mate. There are a lot of cards in the deck, very strange ones that take effect in this time. Just do things in order properly to make sure that you don't go over anyone's attempt to play a card. That's pretty necessary. Once everyone has a new roll, you will take your coins back, and it's important that these stay face up the entire time that this phase is going on, because there are cards that will affect these and player abilities that will affect the coins that you have face up. So even though you're not getting rid of these coins necessarily, there are things that might mix those up. Once the entire stage is over, then you can flip those face down, put them back in front of you, and you can start a new turn, starting with the captain's draw phase. You keep playing through the game this way until one of a few different things happens. As soon as the last coin gets drawn from the bag, the game will end immediately. Also, if you get to the situation where in the cut and run phase, if everyone leaves the ship legitimately without having a black spot or anything, the game will also end immediately. If you get in a situation where only one person is left on board the ship, that person gets to take 1 additional round, including the draw phase and all that good stuff. After that, that person must choose to cut and run. You can't just keep pressing your luck for 3 or 4 or 5 turns or whatever it is. You get 1 additional one if you're the last person on board. After that, everybody turns their coins face up, and any treasure cards that they might not have spent. If you have a black spot, you automatically lose. Otherwise, the person who has the highest total monetary value is the winner and gets to rub it in the other people's faces. So that's how you play, but let's take a look at these 8 individual character roles a little more in depth and see how they really interact with each other. Starting with the captain. The captain's steal is that you have to steal 2 coins. You have to. You can either take 2 from the person on your left or 2 from the person on your right, or split them up and take 1 and 1, but you must take 2 coins if you can. Next is the first mate. His special is that in the steal phase, instead of taking a coin from someone, you can actually give a coin away. This is a really good way to get rid of that pesky little black spot that's been haunting your hand for the past few rounds. The pilot has really good eyes and some decent chesticles. She gets to look at 2 coins on the table before deciding what she wants to steal. She can even look at coins that she doesn't even have the potential to steal if she really wants to. But usually you'd use this to take a look at a coin, maybe 2 coins from one person or 1 coin from each person. And then after you see that, you can decide, oh, that's the one I really want. I'll be taking that one. Thank you very much. The bosun's special is that in the stealing phase, instead of stealing a coin, you can actually take 1 card from the deck. You don't steal a card from the player, you simply take 1 extra card from the deck. The gunner's cheat doesn't happen in the steal phase, and it depends on what you actually drew during the draw phase, because you get the option to draw 1 or 2 cards. If you did choose to draw only 1 coin in this turn, then when that all hands on deck phase happens, and people have their coins in front of them face up, and say I decide to put this coin in front of me and other people put some coins in front of them, after those coins are revealed, I can switch one of my face-up coins, in this case I only have 1, with anyone else's that are face-up on the board. So I can choose to take this nice 1 and swap it out with this 5 over here. Oh look, now I'm actually the one who's in the lead. So make sure you do this in the right order because it will change the order in which people get to determine what character they're going to be in the following round. The cook gets to steal as per normal, but either before or after they steal, they can take 1 of their coins and exchange it for a new one from the bag. This is another way to get rid of those pesky little black spots or lead slugs that have been haunting your hand. The lookout is a good one when you don't want to get messed with, because the lookout sitting up in his little crow's nest is too far away from other people. The first mate doesn't have the ability to give the lookout a coin, and additionally, players can't play treasure cards that target a single person on the lookout. The only ones that will affect the lookout are treasure cards that end up affecting everyone in the game. You're not safe from those, but you're safe from a lot of stuff. Finally, the demonic cabin boy cannot be stolen from. That's his special. He's still going to steal 1 coin from someone during the steal phase, and it's also worth noting during the draw phase, the cabin boy doesn't draw 1 from the bag, but instead takes 1 from the captain. But that doesn't actually count during the stealing phase. That's his draw. Then he's going to steal 1 during the steal phase, and he can't be stolen from because he's a demonic hellspawn. So that's the game. If you get a chance, play this one because it's a lot of fun. It's not too serious, but it's nevertheless very entertaining. Hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, keep playing.